My name is Tota Hanumayya. I hail from Gurjala town, Taluk headquarters of Guntur district, and in that time it was Madras province, not Andhra Pradesh. That time it was Madras province. That is during British era. I brought up there and did my educational qualification of college in Narsarapet near Guntur. Through service commission, I joined in the railways as apprentice fireman A in the year 1962, and Comrade A.S. Mani also is my colleague. From that day itself, we joined together, we are batchmates. When we joined the railways, that is at Arakonam, it was a training period of 2 years for fireman apprentice at that time. Now it is drastically reduced to 3 months or so. But once the training is completed, we are almost fit to work as a fireman as well as even shunter also. That was the training, it was important at that time. But here is the point. We are straight away coming from market into the grade of first fireman, A grade. And when we joined, the pay scales governed was first pay commission. Our stipend was 60 rupees. Subsequently, second pay commission was introduced and our stipend has become 100 rupees. Here is the crux of the problems what the firemen faced. We would like to narrate here. When we joined, there were different types of steam locomotives. All are not modern steam locomotives. In the steam locomotives also we have primitive locomotives, subsequent type medium locomotives, then modern locomotives also. Modern locomotives are WP and WG those time. Before that there were XB, XP, XE, and earlier M class, F class were there. The work is so hard. But these works were earlier done by the persons recruited from rank promotees, from Kalasi to engine cleaner to second fireman to first fireman, and they are called as B grade fireman, not as A grade. And that work what that B grade fireman used to do was entrusted to us after 2 years training when we were selected as apprentice fireman and joined there. From there we worked together. And the promotion channels also different. For A grade fireman there is a shunter post separately, and for B grade fireman there is a shunter post separately. Again for a goods driver there is a separate channel. B grade shunter go as a goods driver and A grade shunter as a goods driver. They maintain different streams, and only when they become passenger driver they come into a single unit. This is how the pattern was there at that time. But most of the time it is the firemen called as agwalas. Firemen in Hindi translation is agwala, and their duties are so arduous, which we later on joined with them and suffered, that the steam engine carries a weight of nearly 18 tons of coal, and beneath that there is a water tank, and there is a firebox in which fire is lit, it is maintained, and in the boiler the water is boiled and a pressure of steam is created to the extent of 210 pounds per square inch or 14 kgs per centimeter square. With that much of steam pressure going through the flue tubes, getting further superheated, the superheated steam goes to the cylinders and it operates the piston there. But all these needs, it's not that simple. This is called locomotion. That movement is called locomotion. That is why it is called as a locomotive. The word locomotion is derived from biology. That is from zoology, locomotion has been derived, and this engine is named as locomotive. In that locomotive, to maintain the steam constantly 210 pounds per square inch or 14 kgs per centimeter square, we have to continuously maintain bright fire in the firebox so as to boil the water in the boiler to maintain the steam. And further, there were injectors with the steam and the water. We amalgamate and send it into the boiler when it is in fire. And coal, you will find large lumps. We have a second fireman, he breaks it and brings it into the chute. From there, we will pick up and fire into the firebox. The firebox is so hot, so very difficult to face. Initially, many people ran away. Even those who were selected as apprentice firemen could not remain. And many people, of course, we had no other alternative, we have remained there. That facing that so much of heat, it causes a lot of health problems too. And firing that too, one should remember, we are not working by sitting somewhere. We are working by standing, that too balancing ourselves on a steam locomotive which is on run with so many oscillations, forward, backward, raise, sideward, and curves, cuttings, downs and ups. So many movements or vibrations are there, and we have to balance ourselves on the footplate to maintain our stand and do this firing work and fireman job. This sort of work is not there for any other category almost in the train running, either TT or TC or guard or anybody. Whoever is traveling by train or in the station, nobody does a job like this. And in this process, he has to maintain a safe level of water in the steam engine. For that, there are two lookout glasses. In that, you will find water levels. That water level is maintained from bottom, water will come from top, steam will suppress it. The correct level it will be shown in that gauge, the glass gauge that is. It is so dangerous. If for some reason it breaks, there is every likelihood of losing your eyesight and burning your face and body also. That's why they used to keep protectors. Still sometimes they get away on the burst and causes lot of injuries to the crew, firemen particularly, and then driver and the second fireman also. These are all the skills one has to learn, but they are not treated as technical persons. And coal is so many big lumps, he has to burn and break it, and at the same time along with coal you will find a shale also, which is not a coal, it is like a stone. And when you shovel it inside, it will become a sponge like. It does not allow air to come from bottom to burn the fire, it blocks it, and we cannot maintain the steam and water. And again on run itself we will have to clean the firebox as we clean our oven in olden days. We have to clean the fire on run by rocking great lever, and that gives a lot of tough time for us to work. And in addition to that, to lubricate all these engine parts, motion parts, particularly in the cylinder, we have to send oil through steam into the cylinder. For that we have a lubricator instrument, and we should constantly maintain it and see that oil bubbles are going regularly into the steam and then going into the cylinders and lubricating them. This is very important. Valves and cylinders, lubrication part, otherwise they break, then go away. These things are technically we should be trained, and we should have understanding why we should do this. This training is given, and those firemen who came from ranks, they learn out of their experience by working in different categories before they reach this position. And the steam engine, there is sometimes the coal when you fire, it is not burning perfectly because the quality of coal itself is not a superior cadre. The coal contains a lot of waste matter and it won't burn fully, and you will find a lot of smoke coming out, and along with that some small particles like they also come out. These particles, they fell into your eye many a time, and you should be very careful in protecting the eyes because we don't wear goggles. Actually, firemen were supposed to be given goggles, but they never gave us. We have to work with the naked eye only, and we have to see with the naked eye only in fire. You can remember whenever these welders, when they are doing welding, they wear some goggles to protect their eyes. Similarly, such goggles should be provided to firemen, but that was never given to us. We were made to work with the naked eyes. That's how we also developed cataract early in those days. And this, while working these steam engines, besides maintaining the steam in the engine, looking after all this mechanism and other things, maintaining water level and ensuring lubrication is taken properly and water is fed regularly into the boiler. If water is not fed regularly into the boiler, in the boiler there is a crown plate. The crown plate gets melted and engine will become useless. You will have to send it to waste material load. Therefore, protecting that crown plate is very, very important, and one should have a knowledge how to maintain the safe level of water in the boiler. That's how we are compelled to use these injectors to pump water into the boiler, maintain the safe level in the boiler. If for some reason water level is not maintained, to protect the crown plate, there they have provided lead plugs into the crown plate. The plugs are filled with lead and then fitted into the crown plate. Lead melts earlier than the steel. Therefore, once temperature is rising, water is not there, immediately this will melt. And this plug will be 1 inch or so higher than the crown plate top level, so that the water till that level, once it is melted, water will come down and it put out the fire in the firebox. That's how it is saved. This knowledge is essentially required for firemen. Fireman job is not unskilled, it is highly skilled. Without that knowledge, you do not know, you don't think it is necessary to maintain. So that sort of protection also is to be there, and that we will have to bear responsibility for it. And other thing is, besides doing all this locomotive job, that when you come to take over this locomotive, we have to examine the entire locomotive, right from bottom. Locomotive parts, wheels, connecting rods, side rods, union link, so many things. Besides doing this great task of job on the locomotive, we are also responsible to observe the signals and repeat it to the driver, confirm with him, and also tell him about the approaching caution orders, cautious driving, speed restrictions, permanent, temporary. All we have to vigil at all level crossing gates, unmanned and manned, curves and cuttings. And we should be always vigilant. We cannot take any respite or rest, or we cannot sit. Not possible. With all these signals have to be sighted and informed. It is not always possible. Those days, the semaphore arm signals were there, not color light. Mostly semaphore arm signals were there. And other difficult task there is, YSA signaling system difficulties we had. The trees growing by the side of track, they obstruct the view of the signals. Nobody takes care of it in spite of complaining. And if we fail to observe and pass the signal, we are punished. They don't, actually, the signal should be viewed from a long distance of nearly 1.25 kilometers or so. And that is a braking distance given at that time. And even this color light now, the first color light itself should be clearly visible from 600 meters. But if a tree branch is obstructing, it is not possible. But they don't clear it. Sometimes we pass signal because of that, and we are punished also. There are difficulties. And night time particularly, we did not have this electric lamps in the signals. Only this kerosene lamps they used to keep. Many times they get put out with the wind. Many times they are so small, the light will be visible, and we are not able to pick up the signal from a distance, safety distance. And we used to struggle to pick up the signal. With all these difficulties, we have to maintain punctuality and safety. All are difficult. And interlocking also was not there. Sometimes they receive the trains on occupied lane also. Sometimes the non-interlocking will be there, Without proper authority, they simply complaint forces. The entire local running staff are subjected to harassment and compelled to violate the rules by the operating staff. And when something goes wrong, we are taken up and a punishment is given to us. This is the nature of work we had at that time, particularly in that. And now I come to the working particulars. There was no limit of hours of work for running staff. Once you sign on and get into the loco, till you are relieved or you reach the destination of that, you have to work. How many hours? No limit. There may be a statutory limit, but nobody knows. Most of the running staff did not know, and those rules are not followed at all. And that too, they are very vague. By the time we come into service, the Rajadhyaksha award was implemented. They said from wheel movement 12 hours we should work. The working condition at that point of time when we came to Railway 62. 12 hours from a wheel movement. That means from the time train starts from a yard or platform, 12 hours we should work before we ask for relief. If you want to ask for relief, you should serve a notice of 2 hours in advance. By the time relief comes, it will be 14 hours. That is on paper, but that is never happens. They never arrange relief. We have to work till we reach the destination or crew dealing point or running room, whichever is earlier. And if anybody claims rest or stables, they are victimized. First, suspend that fellow. They create a terror so as to prevent other people from resorting to stabling of trains, so that those people cannot. They will be compelled to work any number of hours till they reach their destination, and they have to. And they have to work. If they don't work, they are individually victimized, because there was no protection for them. There was no organization which takes care of these people's work and sufferings. Though federations were there, they were never bothered about this category particularly. And most of the office bearer posts and other things are held by other categories only. Running man was not given that opportunity, nor he was having an opportunity to take charge of those posts also. And he works such long hours. I myself, my experience I will tell you, I worked at a stretch for 40 hours, not 24, 40 hours at a stretch. And after going outstation, minimum 8 hours rest they say, but if demands are there, trains are there, we are even disturbed earlier. And again we are returning also so much time. And this is so obvious. After coming home, we feel like taking proper rest. We are not allowed to take such a rest. Those days it is only 12 hours rest if you work for more than 8 hours from wheel movement. If you work for less than 12 hours wheel movement, rest is only 8 hours. So after 3, 4 or 5 days when I return back home, the rest that I was given is hardly 12 hours. In these 12 hours, again they used to serve call book. Train is ready, you will have to come. It was so pathetic. Most of the time, we never had an opportunity to take care of our children and family. There was no social life, no functions, no festivals, only train working. And children are sometimes, they feel whether he is our dad or uncle. They could not identify, because for long times they will not be available at home. They come when after big days or 5 days or 6 days, and that time that fellow goes to school. Before he returns again, he goes for a train. Sometimes it so happens even for 10-15 days they may not be able to see their father like that. That was the very treacherous job it was. And once you are given call book, and at outstation also hardly you are given 6 hours, maximum 8 hours. That beyond that, of course, trains are not there, you may get. Otherwise, you will have to come back. And as I told you, we may be working for so many number of days, together outside our headquarters. On returning, we don't find any proper rest or even periodic rest. If we claim, there are days where they say you are suspended, you cannot claim. Only when you give, you take it. When you give, we do not know. When train service eases, there is a possibility we give. But running train service is important, paramount importance. You must work any number of days or any number of hours. That was the condition prevailing at that time. And while running rooms also, it is not one. They used to take us to any number of running rooms, so that the running room rest is only small, maximum 8 hours, otherwise 6 hours only. If you are taken from one running room to other running room, within a short period of rest of 8 hours, you are working another train. Instead, if you come home, the rest will be 12 hours. Therefore, your utilization will be lesser than working at outstation. Therefore, they try to keep you most of the time at outstation, make you, in order to ensure the continuous running of trains without stop or stable. Even in case of emergencies at home, that information is not conveyed to the working crew. It also happened in my case, where my son swallowed a steel rod, and my family was worrying about it. They informed power controller, they informed the local foreman, but they were not conveying that information to me because I was running a train, and if that is conveyed, I may stop there and I have to come back, and train will stop, it will be detained. So till I reached the destination at the running room point of Betterkonda, I was not informed. Only then I was told. That also, after ensuring there is a crew available to work a return train, then I was informed and asked to come back pilot. Otherwise, they say you work on the train, come back. That was the stringent method of exploiting work from running staff prevailing at that time. Even for these exigencies and emergencies also, they never bothered about relieving us in time or getting us back, or taking care. Even leave alone, I am not available at home, but from railway, from the local foreman or power controller or somebody, they should take initiative to take a doctor or somebody home, or bring family to the hospital and get some aid. That also they don't do it. It's entirely left to their fate. That was the situation at that time. Because of all these things. And another very problematic job of fireman was that while running the train, for each block section, we have to obtain a permission. That is, line is clear for your train to proceed to the next station. Next block section ahead is booked for you. So you can travel safely without hesitation. For that, they used to give us a token. They call it as line clear token. If it is a stopping train, they come and hand out to us. They take the previous token from us, they hand over the new token for the next section. But if it is an express train not stopping, if you are running through the stations at that speed of 80 kilometers or 100 kilometers or 90 kilometers or 60, I have to manually pick up that line clear with the hand. Drop the previous one, pick up this next one. And that causes a lot of pain to the hand, damage to the hand. It is like a circus feat. And no other category does that. But all these things were not taken into account for any other benefit. Only we are exploited like a bonded labor by doing all these sorts of work. Even when a loco failure is there, or when breakdown of locomotive is there, whatever fitters have to do at a shed, we are compelled to do at the section and see that train is cleared. By, if not possible, by ordering for relief engine. There are so many responsibilities involved in this. Fireman and driver, both are subjected to a lot of harassment and cruelty, not treated as a human being at that time. That human approach was not shown. Under those conditions, we felt unless we raise our voice against this injustice and fight for our rights, we cannot survive like this forever. Not only our generation, future also will suffer. Therefore, some of our people, few people, we join together in different places in Southern Railway, Southern Railway. In 65, it was Southern Railway. Even in Vijayawada, I was worked in the Vijayawada division. Vijayawada division also part of Southern Railway. 65. In 66 October, only it has become an independent railway of Southern Railway. That time we had some general manager, I don't remember his name. Previously we had at every crew changing point or important loco shed junction stations, they used to add additional coal into the steam locomotive to facilitate firemen for easy working. And that he said he stopped it, not necessary. With the available coal, he has to shove it down from the rear to the front and then supply it. So that means your strain and stress has increased, workload increased, you will become so fast fatigued, you will not be in a position to work properly and you lose your health also badly. And that he has to work almost all of the time with the coal dust that is prevailing in that tender. And a driver, first fireman also face the same problem. So under these circumstances, we felt there is no possibility of administration itself doing good for us unless we raise our voice against all this unjust treatment of the railway locomen. We gathered together, we formed like a fireman council, and this is unregistered, not a registered council, unregistered council. And we passed a resolution saying we will not work for more than 12 hours at a stretch from signing on to off. What we passed is against the prevailing rules. Contrary to the rules existing, we passed a resolution. In other words, we passed a rule rather, how we will work, not how we should work. We passed a rule as how we should work, not how we should follow the existing rules. Divide of existing rules, we are framing rules. Existing rule is from wheel movement to 12 hours minimum we should work. Our rule is as fireman council, we will work only 12 hours from signing on to off. Our justification was, we are essential workers under HOAR. Essential worker has to work for 54 hours a week, 9 hours a day. And we are now made to work unlimited hours. This we cannot accept. We also work for 9 hours, like others. But here, since you have been working for long hours, such a long years, suddenly it may not be possible to come down. Still we work 12 hours from on to off, not from wheel movement. After 12 hours we will stable the train. We don't work further. And within next 2 hours, relief crew should come and relieve us. Otherwise you drop the fire of the steam engine, so that the steam engine become dead and it cannot work further. That was our resolution. We communicated. And secondly, we take minimum 12 hours rest. Whether it is 8 hours running duty or 12 hours running duty, we will take minimum 12 hours rest. Initially we said. And the outstation, compulsory 8 hours we take. A weekly or not more than 10 days, we will compulsory take a periodical rest. And we will not work under rest. 30% leave reserve is there. Leave should not be refused unless it is already exceeded 30%. Otherwise, you will avail the leave. Like this, we have passed so many resolutions submitted and we started applying that, implementing it. We stopped the trains, stabling. We were given many charge sheets at the time. We all replied same way. We are essential workers, only 9 hours of duty a day, but we are working 12 hours, beyond that not possible humanly, and it is unsafe also. Therefore, we have stabled it, and nothing wrong is done by us. Administration had to make sure that we are given a human treatment and working hours are reduced according to this. And you believe nobody could be punished because everybody has stopped the train, stalled the train. And periodic rest also. We don't wait for them to grant. we say availing periodic rest. That's all. While signing off, we say availing periodic rest. We availed it. Even though they serve a call book, we don't come. And unrest, we refused. Long hours, we stayed. And out of headquarters, we said 3 to 4 days it was there. But even after 3 days, when they are not sending us back to headquarters, our people resorted to stopping the trains. There is a case where in Tuni, railway station between Rajahmundry and Voltaire, Visakhapatnam, just running rooms, crew drilling point. More than 3 days have passed, but they are not sending them back. So they stopped the trains. The station was there, complete Rajahmundry depot was stopped, all the trains stopped. Later on, DS came to terms, he agreed, and then given the assurance, they don't do any victimization, and they were returned without any punishment or victimization. This is how it started. And finally, the DS has requested us to come for a meeting with him, this unregistered fireman council, that we request you to work for 13.5 hours. We will relieve you, otherwise you stay with it. We said no, 12 hours you already decided, we are implementing it. There is no question of going back. If you want to reduce it to 11 hours or 10 hours, we are acceptable. It could not. Then they started, this harassment they resorted to victimization type. And we have seen in Southern Railway in 67, in Madurai and Trichy, there was a fireman council strike. That was mainly because, to what I remember, it may be cross-checked with Paul David Sam from Madurai. He was the leading person in Southern Railway from Madurai division for forming the fireman council. Sabha will come at a later stage. And Paul David Sam and Angel and this Panya. So they were facing this coal problem. They stopped loading a coal, and these people were made to shovel the coal from the rear end of the tender and then supply it, and the suffering is increased. And they also shifted the relieving point. Instead of relieving at that particular point, they said you work for next destination. That's where same thing happened here also. They resisted, we also resisted here. When we used to get relieved at Rajahmundry, I was at Rajahmundry based. Instead of that, GM ordered no relief at Rajahmundry. From Rajahmundry, crew should come to Vijayawada, go back through to Visakhapatnam, come back and deliver it to Rajahmundry. So going through, we did not approve it. They also did so. So we stopped the trains. Then they arranged another crew and relieved us. But there it has taken a path of victimization in the very beginning itself. I remember some people are removed from service, including Sabhapati. And they were hesitating. There were some assurances given by some people here and there, some prime ministers. And I remember after 67 strike, railway ministers come to Madras, and we all went and approached them and submitted a memorandum about our grievances. The first achievement out of that is they constituted a Ashraf committee on running allowances. So of that strike, when we approached the minister at Madras Central, both Southern and South Central Fireman Council, we submitted a representation to him, and thereafter he constituted a committee called Ashraf Committee on Running Allowances, and that committee has given recommendations, and based on that, our running allowance rates were increased for the first time in a better way. Earlier there was no scientific revision, though there was a RSPSA, Running Stock Pay and Allowances Committee, but this Ashraf Committee has made some inroads and made some recommendations where they have recommended the higher percentage of running allowance for locomen and comparatively a lower rate for the guards, and they justified the responsibility of each category. Now, why each man should be given so much like that? That was the first benefit of increase of running allowances we got from 67 firemen strike, and after meeting the railway minister at Madras Central. But Besides this benefit, we also got victimization, wherein some of our Southern Railway comrades were dismissed from, removed from service, and some were penal transferred, and one of the victimized person was Sabhapati at that 67 strike. Subsequently, when Firemen Council of South Central Railway organizing its conference at Bittergunta, we invited a delegation from Southern Railway also, and the South Central Railway Firemen Council headed by a comrade by name Y. Sundaramurthy. Y. Sundaramurthy, he was a goods driver. When this Firemen Council and LRs was not there, he was working in the AR Federation. He was a secretary of the Bittergunta branch. As driver, those days itself, he fought for the rights of the running staff. And he gave evidence as a witness before Rajyadhaksha committee, and wherein he demanded only 4 hours work for running staff and they should be relieved. That was his demand at that time. His vision is so great. Even today, our own people are not in a position to understand that. Prepared to work more hours. But that time itself, so that is sometime in 48, he said 4 hours is sufficient. And it should be intensive category. And during his time as driver, he also stabled the trains. Once he stabled a train at Nellore main line, goods train, and when Governor Special was coming behind, they wanted him to move to next station. He refused. Then they said, take it onto the loop line. He refused. Finally, Governor Special has to pass through via loop line only. He stood so stubborn. That was the spirit he carried and he gave to us. He was founding father of this organization, and it is his spirit that has driven us to be so stubborn and fight for our rights. And whenever, when that first conference was held, we also invited, I think, the Kerala Labour Minister, Imbichi Baba or somebody, he has come. Some local MLAs were there. There, our Southern Railway comrades have given us a call saying that we have decided to go on strike from July 5th or so. I don't remember exactly date, but July it is, July 6th or so. So, since you are holding your conference, please extend your support by joining the strike along with us. So I said, we have not come with that preparation or a motive of going for strike, but still, since victimization is there in Southern Railway, heavy victimization, to overcome that you want to go on strike, okay, we will definitely support. We have taken resolution, and we have organized it so strong that South Central Railway Firemen Council in Vijayawada division and Secunderabad division, we were able to stop the trains between Delhi to Madras, Calcutta to Madras. Entire train service is blocked. Comparatively, the struggle in Southern Railway is poor, because for the victimization they suffered in 67. In the second strike, people were somewhat frightened, could not join so much. Strength was not so much. Both in Madurai and Trichy also it was poor. But Valokot, they have done very good strike. K.S. Mani also was there in that. V.K. Srikumar also was there in that. And to some extent, a small portion of people went on strike in Guntakal also, under Narayan Swamy leadership. But it is ultimately the Vijayawada division, Secunderabad division firemen strike has paralyzed the entire movement of train service between Delhi, Madras and Calcutta, Madras. When people approached Indira Gandhi, what is happening? Press people. She said, some coal carrying workers, they suddenly withdrew their job. Therefore, there is some problem, train stop. But in a day or two, it will be over. We will ensure that entire train service restored fully. Most insignificant fellow suddenly stopped. That's what she said. After 4 days, she has to change her version. She said, it is not a insignificant people. They are called firemen. Very important category of running trains. A key role performers. Since they went on strike, train service stalled. I am now trying to resolve the problems with the help of 4 southern states chief ministers, because this is happening in South India. That is that time Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh was Brahmananda Reddy. Patil was the Chief Minister of Mysore, Karnataka, and Annadurai was the Chief Minister of Madras, and our EMS Namudripad was Chief Minister of Kerala. All these people were there in Delhi for some National Development Council meeting or something. So she asked them, this is happening in your state, please sit together, discuss and see how best to resolve this early. They sat together, and that time in the 1968 strike, we constituted a action committee. That action committee chairman was the Vice Chandramurthy, and myself and another by name C.H. Krishna Raju, we were the members from South Central Railway. Paul David Sam and Sabhavati were members from the Southern Railway. And from our side, we nominated our Nambiar, that time MP, Anandan Nambiar, as our spokesman at Delhi to negotiate with the minister. That time State Minister for Railways, Parimal Ghosh was there. So he had gone in contact, there was a discussion, and all the chief ministers joined together, they discussed the issue, and Nambiar presented our case before them, and they went and told Indira Gandhi, and all the 4 chief ministers selected EMS as their leader to represent before the Prime Minister, and EMS told her, we are supporting this Fireman Council struggle because they are mainly fighting for their working conditions, improvement of working conditions, unwanted victimization. There are so many other important demands were there. And when she wanted them to arrest, they said no, they are not damaging any property. There is no law and order problem. It is purely a working class struggle for their rights. We don't interfere with that. Then she instructed Parimal Ghosh to negotiate and reach some deal. Then there was a negotiated settlement. Nambiar discussed on our behalf because we were in underground. We were not allowed to come out. And in that they agreed for the first time the working hours of running staff will be counted from signing on to signing off. It's a major change in the concept of working conditions. Earlier it was from wheel movement to wheel movement. Now it is from signing on to off. This was the resolution we passed earlier. We will work only from signing on to off. Now through the strike we made the government to accept, yes, from signing and off you will work for 12 hours. That's our demand, they accepted it. We wanted to further reduce, they said no, 12 hours. Earlier, during 1968 fireman strike, the role of the both recurrence federations, NFIR and ARF, it was anti-running staff and anti-working class. During the strike period, they told various divisions and zones and depots, they tried to canvass and persuade the firemen to return to duty, and they tried to create a false impression in their mind by saying, if your working hours are reduced, your amendments will be reduced, therefore don't demand for reduction of working hours. By working more and more, you will get overtime, that will be beneficial to you. That was their plea before the people, but people have rejected them. Nobody followed their session. Strike was complete, and ultimately government has to come down, and Prime Minister Indira Gandhi advised Parimal Ghosh, the then State Minister for Railways, to negotiate, and our representative on our behalf, Comrade K. Anandan Nambiar, represented the matter before the Minister. Ultimately, there was a written agreement, assurance given by Parimal Ghosh addressed to our organization through K. Anandan Nambiar. In that, they have accepted from signing on to off 12 hours duty initially, and no victimization, and all those who are victimized also will be taken back for duty. Unfortunately, both the federations prevailed upon the minister, and they said, if it is 12 hours we don't accept, if we make it 14 hours we will also accept that. Then after we have taken a decision to call off, then they changed this from 12 hours to 14 hours on the pressure of the federations, and the ultimate letter was issued for 14 hours from signing on to off. But here the achievement is the rule that was commanding the running man that they should work for 12 hours from wheel movement for them to claim a rest or relief is changed now. Instead of wheel movement, now the concept of fireman council, which we have said it should be from signing on, that has been accepted. It's a greatest achievement. And victimization also they promised, and subsequently we got it. Victimization vacated. The point here, the achievement of that fireman strike is the fireman council through its strike established the vital strength of the running man and the sufferings he is undergoing, and if united and wage a struggle against that injustice and harassment and cruelty against the running man by the administration, we are bound to win. We are bound to win the case. We are bound to win the struggle, and we will definitely get our cases resolved. That confidence it has created not only in South Central and Southern Railway, but in entire Indian Railways, not only among local running staff but also among railway. That is how it has inspired the total running staff. Why only fireman council? Why not all the running staff come together and form an organization like local running staff? So when we went to Delhi to represent before Miyabai tribunal, there various zonal people from different names, driver council, running council, fireman council, some other organization. So we could have an opportunity to get together and decided a uniform organization should be brought up, and the responsibility was given to Comrade Y. Sundaramurthy to organize at Vijayawada in Southern Railway, and accordingly we have constituted a reception committee here. As a chairman, reception committee being Y. Sundaramurthy as the chairman of reception committee, and there are so many other members. I am one of the member in that, and we organized that conference in such a way that nearly 4,000 people have paraded the streets of Vijayawada. Local running staff from all over India, numbering about 4,000 people, paraded the streets of Vijayawada, and they have shown mighty unity and strength of the local running staff before the public and administration. Only in that we have elected a new body of All India. We formed an All India Local Running Staff Association. I remember it is on 25th or 26th August 1970. And we elected a new body. Thereafter we have drafted a constitution, and within a short span of period, and before this unity conference, bringing about all the running people into one organization fold, I have to mention about another struggle in Southern Railway, wherein they went on strike in 1970. But though there are some general grievances, there are some native and local demands also over there. And in that case also there were some assurances given but not implemented. After 70, still, that means even after 1970 struggle and promises given to vacate victimization, bring them back, and the promises given in 1968 fireman strike to bring back, vacation of victimization not materialized. So after this 70 conference, as an ALR is a delegation, Comrade Y. Sundaramurthy, myself, and the then Secretary of South Central Railway, K. Subramaniam, and many other people, we went to Delhi. We met the Railway Minister Nanda. That time we have taken, as Anand Nambiar was responsible for ensuring that vacation of victimization implementation of assurance given by the then Railway Minister. So he has taken initiative to contact the minister and fix this appointment. Yes, this victimization issue, that only we are on that point. After this conference, we went a delegation under the leadership of our Sundaramurthy, and there Comrade Ananda Nambiyar has initiated approach to the railway minister, and immediately we could not get it. Subsequently, Comrade A.K. Gopalan deputed P. Ramamurthy, he was also MP then, to take up this issue with railway minister Nanda, and he has taken us to him. And before Nanda, Comrade Ramamurthy almost dictated him what the minister should do in case of these people, and he has sent the orders directly on phone to general managers to reinstate all these victimized employees. I think altogether it comes to about 24 people or so, both in southern and south central together. And the order should be there by the time they reach, and accordingly it was sent. This is possible because we not only exhibited the unity and strength of the running man through the Fireman Council struggles, but also by showing the unity and strength of the running staff through our conference at Vijayawada, which has opened the eyes of not only locomen and railwaymen but also administration. If we don't address their problems, they may become mighty to give a trouble which we may not be in a position to deal immediately, as it has happened during fireman strike. So that has also compelled them to come down for accepting these demands raised by these MPs on our behalf, and they accepted for this, and it has come. But what the problem is, throughout Indian Railways, this harassment and working conditions is continuing, unending. If one issue we are able to solve at one place, so many places, so many other issues are cropping up. And it so happened that in Southern Railway particularly, and some place in Western Railway or North Frontier and Northern Railway, there were victimization, harassment, punishment, suspension like this for silly reasons, for not obeying them, to work longer hours or to go under rest, or for claiming periodic list, or flimsy reasons. It so happened in Southern Railway has taken a decision to go on strike in 1972. I say, so far as Southern Railway history is concerned, that 1972 strike was a marvelous strike. No parallel to that strike in Southern Railway. Entire crippling. The time B.V.S. Rao was there, All India President, and some other office bearers, I am not immediately able to recollect. These people were imprisoned, kept in the jail. For the first time after independence, we have noticed that Defence of India rules were promulgated by central government to arrest locomen, those who are going on strike, to put them in the jail so that they can be harassed even without bail or anything. Defence of India rules are very, very, very draconian rules. Those rules they invoked against us. Unfortunately, without reaching an agreement, with some assurances by here and there or somebody, our people from the jail itself, they responded to call of the strike. The result is vast victimization. People removed from service, break-in service, reversions, removal, so many things. So much of court cases, criminal cases, unbearable. It is a great suffering on the part of the locomen of Southern Railway. At the same time, simultaneously, North Frontier also faces a similar situation, and also in parts of Western Railway and Northern Railway too. Therefore, we have taken a decision to call a CEC meeting at Madras sometime in May 73, I think. I will later on tell you the correct date, but I remember it to be May 73. Further meeting people have been organized in large scale because many of our people were victimized, court cases, some were arrested, kept in jail. Particularly our Secretary General, P.K. Barua, from North Central Railway, he was detained and kept in the jail. He could not come to the CEC meeting. Arresting, keeping in jail is a common thing those days of running men. Different railways, in Western Railway, Northern Railway like that. So unless we overcome the situation, there won't be any future for us. Therefore, we have decided in that CEC meeting that we will go on strike sometime in August. And for that, preparatory committee was constituted and job was entrusted to me to finalize the code of conduct, code of communication to maintain between various railways, divisions and zones during strike, which should not be interrupted by the government. And a meeting was called at Vijayawada. Date was fixed as August 13th, and I prepared that code of communication, a confidential code. Government cannot decode it. That way we prepared it. And accordingly we have decided we disperse from there. And on 1st of August, we start work. Uniformly throughout India. The better part of it is government agencies, intelligence, CIB, CBI, state intelligence, RPF intelligence, railway police intelligence, nobody could know that we are going on strike on 1st August 1973. That was the credibility of this organization, which has maintained so much of confidentiality with a vast number of people. Anybody could have leaked it, but they maintained the discipline. That's what the achievement we have got it. We have got a disciplined cadre and members who follow the organization tenets. And that strike completely crippled the Indian Railways. Completely crippled the Indian Railways. A day has come, thermal stations are closing for want of coal. Steel factories closing for want of coal. It is chain reaction on the industry and business. So even industrialists are compelling the railway. You reach some understanding with them, try to resolve it. At that point of time, as they could not break us, they tried with both the federation to break our strike. And finally, they could not do it. They invited us for negotiations by arranging aeroplanes for us to reach Delhi. But we refused to avail that facility because we may get into the aeroplane, but whether land in Delhi or not, we do not know. That was the case in most of the items. So we have chosen our own secret path and we reached there, and we were invited by the Labour Minister. That time Labour Minister was Raghunath Reddy, K.V. Raghunath Reddy. We contacted him. He said, "You are safe, don't worry. We have all taken custody of all your issues, and nobody will venture to arrest you. And I promise, as a Labour Minister, I am giving assurance," he said. Then we met him, decided the time and venue, where is the railway board. There we discussed. The greatness of the organization is, that is a negotiations initiated by Ministry of Labour at the central level, and the negotiation between, not railway board, the negotiation were between Union of India and All India Local Staff Association, not railway. Government of India has negotiated with us, and we reached an agreement during the course of negotiation. Railway board wanted to sit their members in the negotiations. We flatly refused. We don't allow any railway board member to sit in this negotiation. Only railway minister, labour minister, chief labour commissioner. And we don't allow these railway board members or recognized unions. And they have no chance. They said, all right, all of you go out. Only we remained with the railway minister, labour minister, chief labour commissioner. We negotiated.